All right, welcome into another edition of Catching Up with Tommy Mack here on 1010XL's podcast platform at 1010XL.com. Of course, on their app and on their on-demand section on the website. Great to be here inside the 1010XL studios. We're also on Facebook. Hello, Facebook. Good morning. On 1010XL's Facebook page. I'm also on live streaming on my Facebook page as well, brought to you by my good friends at Carpet Man and the Southern Grill. Of course, we've been talking about the Southern Grill for a while, and they are absolutely fantastic down there on the South Bank. One of the best restaurants out there all throughout the morning, day, night, even entertainment at nighttime. And I also wore, this is my friend Greg Conley's Caribbean Connection, and where I get my tattoos, or have in the past, and other things like this really cool shirt. So I do like wearing here on the show. Hope all is good. Lots going on in the sports world. Hey, look, FAU and Miami, I didn't know you were the powerhouses in basketball when it came to the state of Florida. Holy cow, man. I thought you guys, or at least Miami, was a football school, but I like FAU. I haven't watched a lot of Miami, so I can't really comment on Miami. Obviously, they took care of Texas to get into the Final Four. I did watch some of that San Diego State game. That was pretty good. I had to leave it at overtime when they hit overtime because we were up in North Charleston for a dance competition. And congrats to all the dancers at Nancy Dance Studio because they did very well, especially a huge congratulations to my daughter, Harley Mae, who did some kicking some ass up there on the stage, and my Kelsey girl also had a great weekend too. So, but I did have to go back and forth through that. UConn as well being there. I like the fact the upsets continue to happen. The number ones are out. Smell you later. It's sudden death. It's like the NFL playoffs, right? Sudden death. Win, you keep going. Lose, you're out. Well, you can go watch from your home, but congratulations to all of them. That's fantastic. I guess, look, if you're a basketball prospect out there, forget Florida and Florida State. Go to FAU or go to Miami. They're the monsters now in the state of Florida.
I don't need that negative propaganda.
What's up, Graham? Good morning.
Hello, sir. How are you?
I know you're a Florida grad, and you probably take that very seriously. But listen, I the first time I saw FAU was during this madness, of course, and the first thing that stood out is just they look like they're playing in a inner city on the concrete. I played in them when I was out of football. I was in Chicago. We would go play basketball. We had this guy who played ball at Marist with the big dude from the Pacers, Mitz, who was 7'4". You know what I'm talking about? They played at Marist College together, Teddy Sharpenter, and he was like 6'7", and he could shoot all over the place. He was great. So we go into the different neighborhoods and play different teams and whatnot. Just a lot of swag, that street kind of swag. And why not play at FAU? For whatever reason, you don't get into other schools, you don't go to these other schools, come to FAU. Are you kidding me? Down at Boca Raton, live like kings, play some great basketball. And did you see what they earned? Their budget is like 1.6 or 1.5 million. They earned, to get in the Final Four, they are going to earn $8.8 million. How cool is that, man? That's awesome. Wild. That's a life changer for a program. So I think it's pretty damn cool.
The budget that a lot of these teams will get just if they get like one big upset.
Right. Yeah.
Like if they're like a 15 and be like a 2 in like the first round, like that's huge.
Yeah.
Much less making the freaking Final Four.
I know.
I learned about FAU early in the season because they came down to Gainesville and beat the hell out of the Gators.
Yeah. You said that last week. I didn't watch until the madness. I haven't watched any hoops, but I'm into it.
Yeah, exciting. College basketball is kind of weird because during their regular season, you still got football.
Yeah.
For them for a lot of it.
Yeah. Let me ask you this: as a college hoop fan, do you like that none of the bigs are really there? UConn's a big, but none of the real, the normal number ones, the Dukes and whatnot, Kansas, whoever, in the Final Four, or do you like what you're seeing? It's almost like, look, I think the players, they had a great week. I think they had a great tournament. It was phenomenal. Tons of people went. It was like it didn't matter who was playing, but you didn't have all the top golfers in that field. You had some of the top golfers, but you didn't have, or you had most of the top golfers, but you didn't have all the top golfers in the field. Much like this, I don't care. Like, it's still the same to me. You still got to win the champion. You still got to win the game, regardless of who you're playing.
I think it's most fun when just taking my teams out of it, just completely
when the Cinderellas
pretending I have no dog in a fight. I'm just looking for the most fun.
Yep.
I think it's most fun when there's one like blue blood that can be kind of the villain of that year.
Yep.
That's going far. Maybe they have a player that like people don't like and whatever.
Yeah.
And then it's like Cinderella's surrounding them, trying to knock them down.
That's
the most fun to me.
Who was Creighton playing? Was that San Diego State? I think I had to leave it overtime. I tell you what, for a while they were missing every damn shot. I'm like, oh my gosh, these guys aren't even very good.
If they weren't able to lock up on defense, they'd have lost by 25 points.
No, I know, but none of them for a while. They were clanging shots.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is terrible basketball. But in the end, you go to overtime and get it done. All right, on to football. Of course, is the sport we all love, no doubt about it. Owners' meetings just went on. I like what Doug Peterson said. Look, this year's a different plan, and I'm quoting him. Definitely a much different plan. So you could take a little comfort in that, you fans out there that have been wanting more. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying, coming from the head coach, who we trust, who we believe in, he's saying, hey, look, this is a different plan. This is planned. This is how we want it. I like what he said about Ingram, critical to the success of our offense. And I've got to, what do you do when you, because these aren't my, Demetrius Harvey wrote these on Jaguar and Jacksonville.com. So I want to give him credit. How do you do it?
Cite your sources?
Cite my source. So my source is my friend Demetrius Harvey.
Great guy.
Phenomenal guy. Over at the Times Union now.
Shout out Demetrius.
Yeah, he's awesome. So anyway, I'm basically reading off his article. But nonetheless, I like what he's saying, and that's a great thing. Year to get our guys back. Calais visit was great. Jags pass rush vital. Third down vital. Yes, I think Doug, he doesn't need to listen to this show, but we've been saying that, man. You got to get better.
He does listen to the show, of course.
And look, I like a couple things that he said. I like the Walker Little. Look, he's got to step up, but did you notice he's like, hey, he's got to step up, but there are some interesting prospects in the draft. I'm not paraphrasing there. I didn't write that one down. So what does that mean? And look, Walker, it's your job if I'm Walker Little, man, I am training like crazy. Are you kidding me? I am going after it. I'm changing my diet. I'm just focused on winning the job, period. This is his time. This is whoever they draft. Who cares? I don't care. I'm going to beat him. He's got all the tools to be a very, very good offensive tackle, whether it's right or left. I think he's got all the tools. He's big. He's gigantic. He can move. He can bend. He's got good reach. Is he a killer? Look, I think he's growing into that on the field. He's not good. He's a really nice guy off the field. Like, really nice guy. I mean, he's like a gentle giant. He's giant, though, so you don't want to see if he gets mad in public. But he just is really, and listen, and quite honestly, the guys that I have met out and about, Ben Barch, Arnold, whoever else, really nice guys. I mean, really cool. People around him, cool. The group they hung out with. So anyway, my point is for Walker, he gets that killer, like, I'm going to destroy you attitude on the field. And maybe he has it. I don't play with him. Maybe he does have it, but I'd make sure he has it. And I would do that I used to love training in those martial arts, man, for football. It's all about just being quicker and being more, flexible and being able to bend and be able to do more things at a high speed of rate. And it does, develop, some things for you. So on and off the field, but it's his job to me. Go get it, man. Go get it. But I'd be training like crazy. And it's not too early. April 17th as they start. When did they end? January, right? Just end of January. No, February. It's the first week of February, wasn't it? The Chiefs game?
Like the Super Bowl?
No. When they lost to the Chiefs. When was that game?
Oh, that was late January.
Late January.
Yeah.
So, yeah. End of March, 2 months off. That's all you need. Let's get going. Get them training. I'd train with them. I'd love to train with any one of those guys. That'd be great. Not like with them, but, because they'd hurt me, I think, at my old age. But I like that, and I like what Trent's saying about Devin Lloyd in this pass rush. Look, he did it in college. He did some of that in college. I think you can, whether you try him on the outside, he was effective blitzing from the linebacker position on the inside, too. So I think Devin Lloyd's up for a big year. Trayvon Walker's got to have a big, big year. I mean, look, Doug said this, your picks have to be impact players. Impact. They were on occasion, both of them. Devin probably more than, I would say Devin Lloyd probably was more of an impact than Walker. Would you agree with that? I mean, with his picks, a limited, not as many snaps. Maybe it was because we were expecting more out of Walker. I'm looking forward to seeing.
That might be fair, but I think you could also say that he made more mistakes, I think.
Well, I know he did in coverage.
Yeah.
And you can't do that. They got to trust you in coverage.
Correct. Especially at his position.
Without a doubt. I mean, that's if the coaches can't trust you for making a mental, because think about it. One mental error costs you the game. That game costs you a spot in the playoffs. Boom. Season over. It's that important.
Trayvon didn't make enough plays, but
impact plays maybe. But I think if you watched his tape, and I'm sorry I had to cut you off, but like full on against the run, everything, I think you'd be like, all right, this kid, he's playing.
Yeah.
He's making plays. He might not be making the tackles all the time, but he's definitely impacting the play.
The only mistake he made all year that was like detrimental was that roughing the passer against Houston.
Yeah, that was bad.
But that's it. For a rookie, if you're going to tell me that he's only going to make one mistake,
there was one more. Who was the one when Foye intercept? Who? It was Lloyd who picked it up. Foye hit that was when Foye hit the QB late. Was that in the Houston game as well?
I think it was the week after.
Okay. Anyway.
Against Denver, maybe?
Yeah. Just plays like that drove you nuts early. And I remember being on this show and being like, it surprised me. Doug Peterson's normally like a really, disciplined kind of guy. I'm surprised these guys are making these. I mean, when Walker whipped on the QB, I was in the stands. I was like, what? What are you doing? I get like you jump. I get that. I even get that your momentum takes you into him. Get that. Maybe even grab his jersey a second. I get that. But swing and whip him around. Sorry about that. You know what I mean? I mean, like, oh my gosh. Man, take it easy. Take it easy,
all of us in the stands were like,
you got to be kidding me.
Like, because, normally, the
game might have been over after that.
Normally a natural fan reaction too is you look through things through teal lenses and you never think the call is on your team, whatever. We were all like, yeah, that's passing there. That's roughing the passer.
Yeah, that was no question.
Like no one even argued it. Cause like, it's like, what's the, like,
and today's day and age,
if you Google roughing the passer, they show this play.
Yeah.
Like, what? It was insane.
He's like, in today's day and age, he's lucky he didn't get thrown out for that. I mean,
he's lucky he didn't get a couple nights in jail after that hit.
That was pretty. Hey, I like his fire. I'll give him that, but you got to keep it all together. So, yeah, look, it's great hearing that from the head coach. I think we should all, you do what you want, but just say they know what they're doing. They feel good about what they're doing. They signed a couple D linemen, Henry Mondo. Went to school up in Canada. He's Canadian. They like him. I was a friend of mine up in New York said the Giants did like him. Was coming on as a D lineman. We'll see what they can do. And then Michael Dogby. I don't know that much about him, but hey, good luck to both of them, man. I know what it's like to, get signed to a contract, and you gotta earn the job. You gotta win the job.
Are those both 1 years?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
Sounds
so.
Right.
So they give him a chance to earn a job in the National Football League. It's absolutely incredible.
I
wish him the best.
Really quick, I don't know if you and I have talked about this on the pod yet.
What's that?
Really like the Dearness Johnson signing.
Yeah, I do too. I mean, look, ETN's going to need a breather. It can't always be hasty because he's a certain kind of runner. He can run the rock, and he's very good on special teams. So I think he'll find a nice home here in Jacksonville. It's great that I know he's from Florida, so
when Chubb
back in the state of Florida.
When Chubb and Kareem Hunt were hurt a couple years ago, and he took on RB1 duties for like a month, he was really good.
Yeah, I think last year he had a pretty decent year for stats as well.
He just didn't
when
get
he
the
got
ball
the time.
very much,
When he got the chance.
But when he was out there, he was effective. He's a good player.
I mean, look, RB1's going to be ETN, and
of course,
but you do need somebody to spell him, and if you need him, who knows? I wonder what with ETN, are we going to see a different? Like he poor guy gets lit up like every play.
He gets destroyed.
I mean, he gets right up, so it's not that big of a deal. But man, it's like almost like some of the hits of the year. Like if you had a highlight of great hits in the NFL, they end up, with him on the receiving end. I wonder if he's going to change some things with his running style.
I was about to say that I think you guys have talked about this on Jaguars today while you've been on there.
Yep.
The best running backs that have had the longest careers have had this little wiggle about them where they never get, no one really gets clean hits on them.
Right. Like
it's always kind of a wrestle down side hit type of thing.
Yep.
Emmitt Smith was one of the best at that. And he's the all-time leader in rushing for a reason.
Yeah. No, you're right.
So,
you're right.
But if you go watch Emmitt highlights, he's never getting lit up. When he would get when he was about to get tackled, he had this way of kind of
not taking a direct shot.
It's a little bit. It's like a little.
Yeah, you want to because you want to run him over. You want to try to anyway. I think ETN just believes in his speed so much. He's like, hey, I'm just going to go for it.
Yeah, exactly.
And then, kapow, and whatever gets right up. But you got to wonder if he's going to have to take a little different approach.
That contributed to his fumbling problem too.
Yeah, absolutely.
If you're getting killed, you're more likely to fumble the ball.
Yeah, he's special, man. But I like him more outside than inside. Although he does surprise people with his ability to run in between the tackles.
He's not scared.
No, he's not scared.
I'll give him that.
And he's fast as all get out. So he hits that hole and you better be ready because he's past you in a second. But I'm looking forward to his and reiterating what Doug's saying. Looking forward to all these players. He mentioned ETN. He mentioned the young guys. He mentioned Little. They got to step up, and I think they will. So it'll be good to do. All right, I did some stats. I was telling Graham off the air. For some reason, I had Josh Allen on my mind early yesterday morning. It was before anything came out. I saw where Josh had tweeted Calais, we'll bring it home or whatever, which I'd be a big fan of, and I think Josh would too. But, I was thinking about Josh Allen. They pick up the 5th year, right? He's here. I wanted to compare him to the other guys that play his position in the league. And to me, the only stats that really tell the story, in my opinion, when it comes to affecting the QB are QB hits and sacks, of course. Pressures to me are iffy. I mean, you got to go through every single play to figure out, was it really a pressure? And if you pressured him out of the pocket, he completes the throw. Why is that even, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. To me, it's you got to affect the QB and not making a completion. So the purest way, the easiest way is how many times you hit the QB and how many sacks do you get. Fair? Fair. Okay, so I took Josh Allen, and first I did, and it's funny because at first I was like, all right, per game. And I'm like, well, wait a minute, it should be per start too. So I did them both. I did QB hits per game, and sacks per game, or QB hits per game, QB hits per start, same for the sacks, okay? Because they did change. So Josh Allen from 2019 to 2022, per game now, QB hits was 1.23 per game in his career. Out of all the games that he's played in, 1.23. His sacks are 0.48, so that's a half a sack a game. Okay? It's not terrible for the record. It's not great. Don't get me wrong. You'll be surprised when I tell you some other guys. So then I looked at his starts, and I'm sorry I don't have the numbers, but if they weren't the same, then I marked them down. But some of them, like T.J. Watt and Khalil Mack, were basically the same. T.J. Watt has started every game that he's played in. Although he was hurt this past year. Maybe it was
that he's played in.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Right, yeah, that he's played in. I'm sorry, correct, that he's played in. Thank you very much. And then I did. So I compared those. Compared Josh Allen to guys like Brian Burns for the Panthers. They're talking about him like they're going to really pay this guy. He's a stud. They came out the same year. Rashawn Gary with the Green Bay Packers. His numbers very interesting as well. He didn't get a lot of starts early on, but so his starts are pretty up there. Watt, Mac, I did Zadarius Smith, who's still out there in free agency, I believe. Be interesting. Nonetheless, he's got quite the numbers. And Carl Lawson. Well, you'll be surprised. I always liked him coming out of Auburn. I remember when he went to Cincy, I was like, oh, man, I really wanted that guy. Now, granted, he's played 3-4 outside backer, and now with the Jets, he's playing defensive end. So he's kind of a hybrid in that regard. So, again, Josh Allen per game, QB hits 1.23, sacks 0.48. Brian Burns, QB hits per game, 1.2. Almost identical. Sacks, he's had more sacks. I think 11 more. I think it was 11 more. And his sack per game is 0.59. So a little bit more than a half a sack. The starts, his QB hits go down to 1.51, and his sacks go up to 0.75. Look, I think because I look at Josh Allen, I've said this many times, he is very good in spurts, right? He'll show up and have a great game. He'll show up and have a great series. He'll show up and make some really impactful plays. And then there'll be games where you don't see him. I don't hear his name. Whether he's getting blocked or you're just not, I watched the game pretty intently. Anyway, he's just not doing anything or doesn't feel like he's doing anything. But when I go and look at this, which I think are important stats for a pass rusher, he's pretty darn close. Now, the one guy you're going to be surprised, Carl, he's way ahead of everybody, which is even ahead of TJ Watt. I mean, way ahead based on his starts because he didn't start early on. He played a lot, but I don't think he actually started. But anyway, back to the numbers. So Rashawn Gary, same years as Josh Allen, 2019 to 2022. QB hits per game, 0.96, less. Sacks, 0.4, not that much less. Now, per start, he jumps. He goes to 1.86, which is higher, and he goes to 0.76, 3/4 of a sack per game compared to just over a half for Josh. So not that far off, but he's ahead in that regard. TJ Watt, you'd be surprised. I was pretty surprised. QB hits per game, 1.86, same for the per start. He's had 87 starts in 87 games. His sacks, 0.89. That is the highest, which is not a surprise. So that's like almost a sack a game for that guy.
That's insane.
That's pretty great. That's pretty awesome. And then Khalil Mack. Khalil Mack's come down, I think, like the last couple of years, 2-3 years. Like if you took him in his prime, it'd be better numbers.
Yeah. His
QB hits are 1.1 and then 0.63 on sacks. So that's the sacks are higher, but then they're the same. And they're and of course Josh is about the same in sacks when you're talking per start. So that's interesting as well. So I guess look, I'm going to give you the final two just because I did it. You know, does he get a bad rap? That was disgusting. Someone's hair. Whose hair is like shaking? You shaking your hair over here, buddy? You know what I mean? So do you pay the man? I think you pay. I don't know. Let me throw that. I want to see this year. Don't get me wrong. I'm not ready to sit here. Yeah. But I'm glad he's got another opportunity. And if I'm him, I'm putting on Twitter, I want Calais Campbell too. You kidding me? His best year was when Calais was next to him. I think Calais will still have that kind of impact for Josh Allen, in my opinion. All right, 2 more to go, and then we'll wrap it up. Zadarius Smith. He came in 2015 to 2022, year after Khalil Mack. QB hits per game, 1.27. Sacks, 0.5, about a half sack a game. Pretty close to Josh Allen on a per-game basis. When it goes to starts, he didn't start a lot early on. QB hits 2.13, which is the highest so far, and sacks at 0.85. Still not higher than TJ Watt, but just second. So Zadarius Smith, hell of a player. 6'4", 270. I saw he ran a 4.8 at the combine. That must be fun. No doubt about it, but he's had a nice career. And then Carl Lawson, 2017 to 2022, his QB hits per game, 1.457, sacks, 0.4. Not that impressive. Go to the per start, 3.45 QB hits per start. That's higher than anybody, by far. He hits the QB a lot. And his sacks are 0.87, which is just under TJ Watt and then just above Zadarius Smith. So at the end of the day, Josh Allen, I do want to see him another year. And I'm going to keep a closer eye on him because I look, man, he's going to make, I think, 19, whatever. I think his fifth year is pretty nice, which, look, he's a first round.
Yeah, because he was a top 10 pick. He was top 10 pick.
7, right? 7?
Yes. Yep.
Look, I think having a presence like Calais Campbell would help him tremendously, without a doubt. And if Trayvon Walker can develop, if whoever else is out there, if you move him down, it doesn't sound, by the way, there's no sound of them moving him down. Doesn't feel like it, of Walker moving to end it all. Now, that could change. I don't know. I know they're counting on Foley. He's got to have a big year. We are too. So, be interesting. But Trayvon, if they can develop that other side, Jacksonville 2.0 maybe.
They seem hell-bent on Trayvon being a 3-4 outside.
It sounds like it. Well, they want to be right,
And to be fair,
I don't think they'd be wrong. And I'm sorry to move him down time to time. Whatever. Try him out in different.
Yeah.
He's young enough to try it out.
I would rather see him hand in the dirt.
Mm-hmm.
But to be fair, this is what they said when they drafted him.
Yeah.
And we all knew that he was going to be a multi-year project.
Yeah.
So the jury was not going to be able to be out on Trayvon after 1 year regardless.
Yeah.
And it's been kind of a talking point that Aiden Hutchinson had a better season. I think we all kind of predicted that he was going to have a better rookie season.
I mean, listen, I didn't watch Detroit
at least in terms of
every
sacks.
game. I know sacks and picks. He had 3, I think.
Yeah.
He had a big year for a rookie. I mean, a big year for anybody. I mean, that's a big year. So
But that was the conversation.
Yeah.
At draft time, do you draft the more ready-made guy?
Yeah.
Or do you draft the guy that you think has more tools and you take a little bit of a longer road to develop him because you think the ceiling's higher?
Yeah, I'd like to see on Hutchinson just with those sacks, how they came. You know what I mean? Because I know there was games where he'd have 2 or 3, and then he'd have 0, for a couple games. So hey, they're rookies. They got to figure it out. Look, you got to expect him to have a huge second year.
It does seem too
I would if I'm the Lions. He better have a huge year.
It does seem like edge rushers oftentimes are a position that take a little while to get to where they need to be.
Listen, man, I said it before. I think the number, you got to have the size, speed, for all that stuff, but you got to bend. You have to bend. If you can't bend that corner, you're going to have a problem.
Yeah.
If they grab you, if they get their hands on you, you're not going to win that battle most of the time. You got to make it to where they can't get, that clean shot on you. Speaking of Detroit, I like what Dan Campbell said about Goff. He's like, he's one of our guys. He's like, regardless what we do at he's our guy. No, I do too, man. What a great story, LA didn't want him. See you later. We want Stafford. Okay, we'll flop.
He's gotten
It's like a wife swap and a team swap. He goes to.
He's gotten better too.
I like him a lot.
He's gotten a lot better.
He's still got the tools, man. He can rip it.
The book on Goff when he was in LA was if you could hit him, rattle him, he would struggle.
Yep.
He got hit from time to time last year, and he was better at
totally
getting back up and keeping.
He got out of LA, man. He went to the tough city, Detroit.
Right,
for real. What I mean, he had to toughen up.
And his coach is tough as hell too.
Yeah, he'll bite your kneecaps. I do too. They're going to be an interesting story, And then if you look at Rodgers going, getting out of Green Bay. Now Green Bay, what kind of team are they going to have?
I know.
Chicago's trying to build. Detroit might be their chance to take a shot at the title.
Really quick sidebar. I won't take a lot of time on this, but
take as much time as you want. It's Tuesday, man.
Yes, sir. What I love about Dan Campbell is I love coaches that are unapologetically themselves.
Yeah, genuine.
They are going to succeed or fail being themselves.
Right.
This is why, in my opinion, Belichick guys have not done well because when they leave, they try to be Belichick, and they're not.
Right.
And they need to just be them.
Yeah.
Take things you've learned and apply them, but you have to be you. Well, I think Doug Peterson has done a really good job of learning from Andy Reid, but still being Doug Peterson.
Making it his own. Yeah, he's genuine. Look, guys can smell out someone that's not genuine.
Every player
in a second
ever has said that.
Yeah, you can.
Every player,
and then you don't want to listen to them. If you think they're kind of making it up or they're phony or two-faced. Not that they're two-faced. You know what I mean? But if it's not genuine, you sniff that out. And then you kind of zone them out, and then you're like, I'm just playing to win for my team, and I don't really care what the coach has to say. You know what I mean?
Right, and I'm playing for myself and my contract. And
right. Well, and my team, you can still play for your team and not for your coach. You don't have to play for your coach all the time. But, yeah, being genuine, no doubt about it. Hey, I want to wrap up with this. So, still out there, I don't get this whole – Lamar Jackson says, I asked for a trade March 2nd. I'm like, okay, we know it costs 2 firsts.
Yeah.
Well, how's that different? Is it any different? And Jim Irsay Jr. says, he doesn't believe in fully guaranteed contracts. So he's like, the money's not a problem, but the fully guaranteed contracts is the problem. So I think other teams may feel that way. Now, granted, coaches get fully guaranteed deals, I think their contracts are guaranteed.
The coaches' bodies aren't on the line every play.
Well, and they're not $250 million.
Right. Yeah. That's true.
like the assistant coach is like, whatever.
Or another big part is their salaries don't count against the cap.
Yeah. True.
This is about the cap. Mm-hmm. Like, this is not about owners being cheap. It's about the cap. The cap is the problem here.
Well, and here's the other problem. Because, if you did, Watson got fully guaranteed.
Yes.
The league, the rest of the owners would be like, that's an anomaly. That's not the norm.
There are 31 owners that are pissed about Deshaun Watson's contract. If
we start doing that, when's it going to end? Is Trevor, let's just say Trevor wants a fully guaranteed contract. You're going to give him $500 million, fully guaranteed? Maybe you would. Would you do that for a guy? Let's just look. Lamar Jackson's been hurt on and off for 2 years. He hasn't. He's great in glimpses, spurts, if you will. And there are games he was really good. Don't get me wrong. I know he was, but then there are games where he wasn't. And then he's games where he's out. I don't know if just take $200 million. I mean, I don't want to play with other people's money. But you're not Deshaun Watson.
And I heard
not Deshaun Watson. You were at one time, you were better than Deshaun Watson, right? When you were an MVP. But you haven't played like an MVP in a very long time.
Correct. I also heard Jeff Prosser this morning say this because he's a big Lamar Jackson fan in terms of a player, and I am too. He's a great player.
Yeah, but
and he said something that I don't know. He said if Lamar Jackson had Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown, he may have been second in MVP voting instead of Jalen Hurts, and it's like sure, but here's the problem. If you pay a guy that type of money, he's not going to have A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith because all the money's going to him.
Right.
There's a reason the Packers don't have the receiving core that they used to for Aaron Rodgers.
Right.
Because they paid Aaron all the money.
They couldn't keep Devontae at the number he wanted probably.
And it's, I know they just won the Super Bowl, so clearly it was fine. There's a reason the Chiefs lost Tyreek Hill.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, not on top of that, look, and I mean, I get what he's saying if they had a better, supporting cast, but the injuries, that wouldn't change. I mean, that's really a problem. I mean, come on, you can't, 12 games per year is not enough for me to give you that kind of money. And they're willing to give him a lot of money. It's not like they're willing, they're saying, hey, we're going to lowball this. He's getting $20 million. I mean, it's not, and look, it's not what he wants. I don't know. He's holding to his guns. I guess you got to give him, if he gets it, good for him.
The Ravens.
I don't care if he gets it or not. I wouldn't pay him just for I need you more for 12 games a year. That's not enough.
And it's not even, and just like you just said, it's not even that the Ravens aren't willing to pay him.
Yep.
It's that Lamar wants them to set a new precedent with how quarterbacks get paid.
Yeah.
That's different from saying, I don't want to pay you.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like
right.
Lamar is asking them to do something that does not get done traditionally.
Right.
It typically, when you're next in line, you get like a little more than the last guy. And
let me ask you this. Let me ask you this question. You look at the Browns.
Yes.
How confident are you in the next 2-3 years they're going to win a Super Bowl?
Less than 0%.
I mean,
I do not believe.
Be conservative.
I believe almost.
Zero's extreme. I mean, they got more than zero chance.
Conservatively, I'll give them a 15% chance to win a Super Bowl in the next 3 years.
Okay. So
I don't think they're any good.
If I pay my quarterback guaranteed money, even if I pay him non-guaranteed, whatever, if I'm paying 100 big, you better win me a title.
Yes, correct.
Or it's a failure.
Yes.
No, maybe not in the pocket because your ticket revenue and all that stuff. But you know what? You don't win me a championship, then that was not a good project for me overall. Might 100%. Be okay. Hey, ticket sales, merchandise, we got this. Okay, fine. Bottom line, maybe so. But at the end of the day, you're building a team to do what? To win a title.
Correct.
Guys go against, we've talked about this before. The Jags did it in 99, man. They went after it. Bringing in Carnell Lake, paying big money to big money players. They went for the title. We didn't get the title. Then they had to start unloading. Look at the Rams, same deal. They're doing the same thing. You're chasing the title. So, hey, if I'm going to pay you that kind of money, you better damn well bring me not just you, the team, better bring me a title.
And you need to get paid based on how much help do you think you need. And you have to be honest with yourself as a quarterback. And that's a hard conversation to have with yourself.
Yeah.
But think about it. I mean, clearly Mahomes was fine. He went and won the Super Bowl without Tyreek Hill.
Yeah.
But if Lamar wants to command all this money and then he's not going to have any help, or in 2 years, what's the narrative going to be?
Right.
Oh, well, this team's not getting Lamar any help. Well, I wonder why. Why do you think he's not getting any help? Well, why do you think Aaron Rodgers is having to deal with rookie receivers in Green Bay?
Right.
There's a reason for this. The cap works. The cap is not a myth.
Yeah. And I think if you compare, what'd they give Mahomes? $250 million guaranteed, right? That was signing bonus, whatever the heck it was. I think that's
and it was
fully guaranteed.
And it was over a super long time.
Right.
Too.
But still, $250 million.
Right, correct.
But he's the best. He's correct. The best. Lamar Jackson's nowhere near Patrick Mahomes. I don't care who's around him. Especially when you're injured. You're definitely not.
Andy Reid and Mahomes are proving that they can do kind of the old school Patriots thing where they just draft guys you've never heard of.
Develop guys.
And they're fantastic.
Yep.
These fifth-round picks end up being amazing.
Well, they fit in their system.
Correct.
They just, okay, you're out. Take Hardeman. Kind of, fill in the gap when healthy for Tyreek being gone. No, did he fill the void? No. Throw in the running back. That's speed. Pacheco, thank you. Adding that speed element.
Pick.
I know. They find them. That. So if you want to say they don't give, they don't develop any, right? They just don't develop enough for them. But nonetheless, look, I think at the end of the day, we always say this. You compare, as a player, you compare yourself to other players, and then you look at what they're getting paid. Now, Lamar may say, you know what? I'm as good as Deshaun Watson. When I'm healthy, I'm as good as him. And he could make an argument for that. In their prime, if let's just say he didn't get hurt, you put them up against each other, I may go Lamar Jackson. I probably would go Lamar Jackson, but the injuries do concern me. He's a great quarterback. He is. He's one of the he's top 10. We did this before. Is he 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? I think we got him at 7 or 8.
We both agreed back half of the top 10.
Okay, so then that's what the compensation should be. It shouldn't be. Deshaun Watson's not there, and I get it. But if you're the Ravens, you're like, look, I don't care what the Browns did. That's got nothing to do with us.
The Browns are an organization that we've bullied for 20 years.
Right, we've been kicking their ass for how long? We don't care what they're doing.
Right.
So what? They overpaid. They went after. They think Deshaun Watson's going to bring him a title. Maybe he will. I don't know. I don't feel that confident. I mean, think about it. Who are they going to upend? Kansas City, Buffalo, Buffalo's got to turn it around. They got to bounce back. Miami's going to be tough this year.
It's interesting with these veteran quarterbacks people have bought into because Stafford worked, obviously. They won a Super Bowl.
Yep.
It might be falling apart now, but they won a Super Bowl, so it's worth it.
Yep.
Since then, the quarterbacks that people have gone all in on have, up until this point at least, blown up in people's faces.
Yep.
Deshaun Watson... The jury's still out for the most part.
Yeah, you gotta
but he didn't look good last year. I know he was rusty. I get it.
Yeah, I'm gonna This year, he should be much better.
reserve the right for that's fair.
Yeah.
Russell Wilson?
No, I know. But
totally blew up in their face.
Yeah, but, he finished strong, well, at least the last game, but I don't know how much that matters. But, look, Sean Payton's going to fix him. And I like what he's doing already. He's taking him off the pedestal a little bit. Step down from the clouds and stand here on Earth.
About 10 pedestals down.
Exactly.
I mean,
stand here on Earth. Feel the ground. I'd make him take off his shoes and socks and put it in the dirt and be like,
this grass,
feel the ground. You're not floating up in the cloud, buddy. You're right here. Let's go. But, yeah, I mean, look, that's – and if I'm the owners, you got to be careful in guaranteeing fully guaranteed contracts, I think. I don't know. I mean, if you did the math, they're still going to come out on top. Making money.
I mean, you can guarantee contracts. It's just going to be a lot less. I mean, every contract has guaranteed money in it. It does. It's just a lower number.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. It's like it's not really about is it guaranteed or not. It's how much is guaranteed, right? Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? I'll guarantee you a contract. I'll just make it less.
Right. Right. Exactly. I mean, you look at Mahomes. He may not. Who knows what happens to his career? He'll get to 250, but will he get to 5 or whatever?
The biggest myth in NFL contracts is whatever a deal is worth up to. Yeah. There's this myth that like that's what it's going to end up being.
No, it's not.
And that's why players don't like this.
Right.
Because they want that number to be more guaranteed.
Right.
But it's like when Nick Foles was in Jacksonville.
Yep. Everyone
kept calling him the $80 million man, the $80 million. If you think he 22. Even sniffed $80 million, you're insane.
Yeah.
He wasn't even close.
It was 22. I think that was his guaranteed number.
Right, exactly. That's the point. I'll guarantee
that's
you
all
money.
You should look. And that's why Lamar's saying all about guaranteed money. I want it fully guaranteed.
And I want it to be a high number.
Yeah. Well, he wants Deshaun Watson.
Yeah. So
you got to be real, man. You got to be real with with your value. And that's what players do. You look at the players around the league at your position, and you're like, well, I'm better than him. I'm as good as him. Look at my stats compared to him. Or man, that guy's the best. I don't play like him. I come off the field on third down. He's on the field every down. He can blitz. I'm not a great blitzer. But then look at this other guy. But look at this guy. See, I'm just like this guy.
I think with QB,
and then you figure it out from there.
I think at QB, and it's subjective, and of course QBs are going to feel a certain type of way about themselves.
Yep.
But I think the conversation that the quarterback and the team has to have, the honest conversation, is how much help do you need to win me a title?
If I got to pay a $400, well, here's the thing. The cap, it keeps going up. The money keeps going up. The contracts are going to keep going up. It's just evolution of it because it's not dying. The sport's not dying. It's going to continue to grow. They're going to try to grow it over in Europe and Germany, all over there. It's just going to, unless somehow it implodes one day, which I don't see how it does, it's just going to continue to go on. And, look, I mean, those TV contracts are absolutely ridiculous. They're making billions. You know what happens? It gets spread out amongst the owners. They all get so if it's $5 billion or whatever, it's divided by the 32.
And that's how they do it. The Amazon money hits next year.
Yeah.
I believe. That's why a lot of these free agents are signing one-year deals for a reason.
Because the bigger money's come. It's supposed to go up $50 million, the cap next year. $50 million.
I don't know if it's going to work out this way. If I'm Evan Ingram in Jacksonville, I stick to that tag for this year.
Yeah.
Have another productive year. You pay me big bucks
Obviously,
next year.
Doug's going to make him a focal point again, and he has got all the athletic
crazy
ability.
Not to.
No doubt. It's going to be fun. Add in Ridley. Oh, looking forward to Trevor, too, taking that next step. We're all looking forward to that. Hey, want to thank everybody for checking out the show. Appreciate it. Catching up with Tommy Mac podcast here on 1010XL's podcast platform at 1010XL.com. Check out their app as well. And their on-demand section, you can check not only this podcast, but many, many more. Y'all have a great day. It's Tuesday. We got to work on Tuesday. Graham, I saw him in the parking lot. I'm like, how you doing? He's like, I'm like, what do you mean, He's like, well, I'm fine. I'm like, look, it's Tuesday. Suck it up, Tuesday. Gotta work.
It is.
But once it's over, you're into Wednesday, hump day. Oh, Thursday, boom, forget about it.
I got a fun weekend ahead.
Me too. At home. I can't wait. I'm going to the corner. I haven't been to the corner in a little bit, like probably 3 weekends.
You're fiending.
I am. I'm like sitting there like, man, once Thursday hits, like, getting the itch. Like, I got to get to the corner and have some good good
must
fun.
Play pool, must have beers.
Yeah, right. Exactly. All right, y'all have a great day out there, and we'll see you on Friday back here in the 1010 XL studios. So until next time, stay safe and be cool out there. We'll see you right here on Catching Up with Tommy Mack. Peace.